Hello everyone, this is Tucker, and this is, once again, this is not actually officially launched, Driving in the Dark, but, as I figure out what I want to do with this, just gonna stop in for a second to talk to you quick, because, Kanye debuted, The Life of Pablo today, whatever the fuck that means, with the album cover and everything. I got real lucky. I was working. I worked open to close today, and it just so happened that we got slow enough when that title live stream went up that I got to listen to the album late. I mean, even though we fucking started it like 40 minutes late. And I'm just, for one thing, I'm here talking to you to brag, because if anybody had which I don't know if anyone, even like a single person has watched it. I haven't checked, but if anyone saw my other pre-launch video that I put up, that's well, basically just me talking. I predicted several days ago that the album would not come out today. That if he was still fucking around with the names and all this shit, there was no chance in hell that CDs had been manufactured, that distribution had been set up. So, maybe it's going to come out the 12th, which is when you're hearing this probably, but did not drop on the 11th. Fucking called it. And, I mean, I do hope it drops soon, because Tidal is being fucking trash. You can rewatch the stream, but it's just, it plays the whole event over and over and over again in a loop. You can't fast forward or rewind or anything, and the bootlegs of it that are circulating right now are absolutely trash. So, I mean, I've listened to some of the bootlegs a few times, but I only heard the live stream once. I just thought I'd chime in quick with some of my initial impressions, because we've been waiting on this album for so long. This is no kind of review, don't mistake it for that. Even if the album did come out, it would be such fucking bullshit for me to pretend I could review it listening to it for less than a day. But I guess I got some initial thoughts on it. It was interesting. He was really not lying when he said that this is a gospel album. I can't think of any other project he's done that has centered so much in religion and has leaned so heavily on gospel music and soul. Like, he's always used the soul samples and the choirs and stuff, dating back to his earliest work. And the first track, what is it? Ultra Light Beam, right? Yeah, Ultra Light Beams. That kind of almost reminded me of Dark Fantasy from My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy with the swelling choir, and I really liked the way he had that woman singing solo for a while. Like, I can't really think of a time where he's had just a single female singer go for that long without it just being like the chorus or something. It was really interesting. I gotta say, I was really surprised by the track, because when I saw that he put a song called Ultra Light Beam at the beginning of his album, I mean, that sounds like the name of something from fucking Yeezus. And it's just it's really good. Really, really good song. From the number of times I've heard it so far, it's very soulful. It's like someone's just like rubbing cocoa butter on your soul. It's really good. And I didn't know Chance the Rapper was on it. I don't think anyone knew Chance the Rapper was on it, but he did a great fucking job. I love that the rhymes about Pangea, treat him like Pam. What about that was great, and I love the way that he just kind of switched up his flow and sang and wasn't afraid of how his voice sounded. And Chance, like, I want to say Chance ran away with the song, but there's so many other highlights in it for me. But interestingly enough, like, and this for me, just from these first impressions, it's a consistent theme that Kanye was not a highlight on his own song, except I guess the production or overseeing it. And the Father Stretch My Hands, I mean, for one thing, I don't know if maybe he didn't play both parts, but I mean, it's like a 4 minute song, but it's part one, part two, and uh, some of the kind of instrumentally stuff was interesting just because it transitioned well from the first song. But you know, the problem with Yeezus, like for a while, I'd like convince myself Yeezus was like a really good album, like not great, but just like right on that precipice. And then I like realized, you know, the only like coherent, consistent argument I can put forward that Yeezus is a really good album ultimately boils down to you have to ignore the lyrics. Because basically I was just ended up saying stuff like, you know, well, it's not about what he's actually saying, it's the force of it and the roughness. And ultimately my argument for Yeezus boiled down to, yeah, the music's pretty good, just ignore the, just, you know, I'd probably like the album more if I didn't speak English. But there are just so many lines on that album that just like feel like when you're going on a roller coaster or whatever and your like ears pop, just like these, just these moments that just sound terrible. Just lines, just these lines like give you shivers all over Jesus. And I got worried right away when Father Stretch My Hands came on. 'Cause like right away, he's got that fucking line about I wanna fuck the model and she just bleached her asshole. And if I get bleach on my t-shirt, I'll feel like an asshole. And I don't know, maybe it's supposed to be edgy that he's rapping about, you know, bleaching your asshole or whatever. But I mean, that's not nearly as vulgar or provocative as most of the shit on Yeezus. And he rhymes asshole with itself. And the delivery is like, I think intentionally kind of just sloppy and ramshackle and stuff. And that's a stylistic decision that can be cool and kind of pacing out the words and the stuff he's doing. The problem is if you're fucking rhyming asshole with asshole, it just right off the bat just sounds fucking bad. And I like Kanye's stuff when he uses auto-tune. Like his auto-tune screaming, singing thing at the end of Runaway is like my favorite Kanye moment of all time. Of all time. But just the little touches of auto-tune and stuff on that track, just like maybe I have to hear it a few more times, but nothing about Father Stretch My Hands made me sit up in my seat, especially because Kanye basically doesn't rap on the first song. So this is the first time we're hearing him rap, and with No More Parties in LA, he made a pretty bold statement about, you never thought I was going to rap like this again, but now I'm back, writer's block is over, and I'm back in your face, I'm just going in again. And the first rhymes on his album are just terrible. What is it? I don't even know what it. If her asshole is bleached, does Kanye think that there's like bleach dripping off of her asshole that's gonna get onto his shirt? And then why would he feel like an asshole as a result of that? Because he ruined his own shirt. He's gonna feel like an asshole because he messed up his own shirt. Whatever. I guess enough of that. Maybe it's gonna grow on me. We'll see. Next song, Freestyle 4. Kanye is not a freestyle rapper. Like pretty much any interview or anything where you see him freestyling, it always turns out that whatever verse he freestyles just so happens to be on the next album. He does pre-writtens when he freestyles. So I don't know if this is actually a freestyle or not. I don't know if there was a freestyle 1, 2, and 3, 5, 6, 7 for that matter. Anyway, freestyle 4, or pre-written 4 really. I thought it was good. This is definitely, as far as the beat, this is one of the highlights for me. And again, it was not encouraging to me at all. It starts off with this, have you heard the good news? You're sleeping on me, have a good snooze. Like, it's kind of catchy. I enjoy it, but it's, it's not creative in any way at all, really. And that's acceptable in something like a freestyle, that you'll just throw out this simple thing as like a placeholder for a chorus while you think of the next thing you're gonna say. But I did like the line "Name a genius and ain't crazy," but it's cool that when Kanye says it, because it's very true, and because he's always has to be on the defensive about stuff like that, about him being crazy and calling himself a genius and all that. But at the same time, like, that's really just kind of a truism. Like, I'm I'm pretty sure that Kanye would have deleted that line if he would have like gone on Google and searched "name a genius that ain't crazy." He'd be like, "Huh, I guess everyone has done that before." But and then it's got the line about driving the car that killed Pac. Didn't Eminem have a whole thing about that on Marshall Mathers LP? That song, Marshall Mathers driving up the block in the car that they shot Pac in, looking for big killers, looking ridiculous, red and blue, like I don't see what the big deal is, whatever. And I like Freestyle 4. It's the song I've listened to the most over and over again because the beat's really good, the flow's kind of interesting. But for me, the only thing on the song where I'm like, oh, I really like this, is the thing at the end where he says, like, I'm gonna do an Oprah. You get a fur, you get a fur, you get a fur, you get a jag, big booty bitch for you. And I don't know. I remember when Jesus came out. Jay Smooth from the Ill Doctrine tweeted, like, Kanye's so innovative. I wish he would break new ground and do a song where he doesn't sound like he hates women. And this album isn't nearly as bad on those counts as like Yeezus was, but he's still like pretty much literally referring to just giving away women like property. It's a little played out. He's certainly not doing anything interesting with it. And if you're gonna throw shit like that out, you know, be interesting with it. So Freestyle 4, I like. It seems like it's something like, I don't know, if you work out or something, you could listen to it, or just walking or driving around. It's great drive around car song is what it sounds like. Crank up the bass or something. But it's 3 songs in, and Kanye's like still not even. He's still barely rapping. And then what's the next song? Oh, the Rihanna one. First off, Swizz Beatz, shut the fuck up. That one song, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, middle fingers in the air. I think it's So Appalled or whatever, where Swizz Beatz is like helping on the chorus. That sounds cool. But aside from that, there's never been an instance in recorded history where someone wanted to hear Swizz Beatz fucking talking on a song, because he sounds terrible. Like, Nas's album Life is Good was so great, except like Swizz Beatz on Summer on Smash, like doing the chorus or whatever, was so bad that it almost tanked the entire album. Like, Swizz Beatz, stay off your own fucking songs. You're a good producer. And I did love this beat. Especially the way he flipped that bum ba dee da bum, whatever that, I can't remember what it's called, whatever that song's called. Like, a million people have sampled it, but I thought Swizz did something interesting with it. And when it came on in the live stream, I was like, yeah, like it just amped me up, man. It's great, like just great. And I mean, I guess the elephant in the room with Famous is that he says that shit about how maybe he's still gonna fuck Taylor Swift because he made that bitch famous, which is weird. I almost wonder if he like approved that with Taylor before he put it out there, but it just sounds like his Twitter rants against Wiz Khalifa with the "I own your child" and shit like that. I think depending on Taylor's response, I'm either gonna think it's like a really cool line and there's like a humor and an irony to it, or it's just fucking ridiculous. And Rihanna, I mean, is on the song. This doesn't sound like a single to me. It doesn't sound like a hit. You know, the chorus is barely there, and to be honest, most of the time the rapping isn't really there, and then Swizz Beatz like talking over part of the chorus. And, I mean, it's no All of the Lights. I mean, I'll put it that way. But the beat is good, and I don't think Kanye embarrassed himself. Which I really wish I could just be on here saying my first impression is that this blew my mind, and my expectations honestly were higher than this because, at least just upon these first impressions, I still think that No More Parties in LA is better than any song on here. Granted, we don't have the studio quality, everything yet, and I've only listened to it a few times, but there is certainly no place on this album where Kanye is rapping like half as good as he was on that song. And there's highlights, and it's like I think Young Thug's on it. I like the beat too. It was kind of it sounded a little bit like a DJ Mustard beat. I don't know who produced it, but this nice little like synth plucky thing, and it's certainly interesting. I mean, like the intro is crazy long, and I can't say I love Young Thug on it, just because so many people what am I saying? So many people are doing that kind of style that Young Thug does, and you already got what's his name on Real Friends, Ty Dolla $ign on Real Friends doing a very similar thing. So there's a question of how much you really want a certain specific style on your record before it sounds redundant. And it's weird because like this is like the halfway point of the album. And you're this far in, and it's like, when is Kanye gonna start rapping? You know, it's just weird. Like, this is, I can at least say it's different because this is, I mean, he's doing a lot, there's a lot more singing than probably on any of his other albums except 808s and Heartbreak, but this doesn't sound anything like 808s and Heartbreak. It certainly doesn't sound like a regression at all. This is definitely a new step for Kanye, like stylistically. And it's just hard to categorize. It's just weird, like trying to put your finger on the way that every time I listen to this, it just seems to be over so fast because there just aren't, aside from like Chance the Rapper, there just aren't like lines that I just want to grab onto or like hit rewind, you know. And this is a song where again I don't know why he's just like name dropping. This is like a concept album about the Kardashians basically. Like I'm one of those few people that really likes that Kanye is with Kim, but this is just so much name dropping on this album with so much less emotional content than I was hoping for. And he's got this line about Ray J on here, about Ray J hit it first, but Kanye's rich, and I think he rhymes it with bitch, and it's just kind of boring. And what is this song about? Like making a sex tape or whatever. And when the chorus hits, and when I think about the title, highlights or whatever, I'm just like, you know, I could be listening to High Note by Scarface. I could be listening to High Life by UGK. I mean, those are stylistically different songs, but it's just all the best stuff about it evokes something else for me. As for feedback, I caught it in the live stream. The rips don't seem to have it. I know when I listened to it live, there was one like beat on here that I was really, really, really into. I was like, now this is that shit. And listening to it over and over again, it's like, is that what that? Nah. I can't really figure out what song it was that like hit me so hard on the live stream. And I'm pretty sure it was probably feedback, because the rips don't have feedback. And I'm not gonna sit and watch the live stream again for like the whole 2 hours over again to get to song 6 and then not be able to listen to it again. But then we got Fade after feedback, which I wish I don't know. No comment really. I think maybe I loved it, but it's hard to say. He wasn't exactly yelling out the song titles before he played them on his laptop. And so we got Fade, which has been out for a while. I remember when it came out thinking it was weird. Like, it's got a nice beat to it, it's got a nice kick to it. It's very funky, very house influenced. You can see how in a certain context it might be danceable, but like, I can't remember if it was an earlier or later song on here where Kanye had a line I enjoyed, just a cheap line I enjoyed about fucking up the coach like Diddy if the coach treats his son like he's an idiot or something like that. And you know what, honestly, I can't remember which came out first, but that Puff Daddy song from last year with Pharrell, Finna Get Loose, I don't think was that different from what Fade is. And I think it was catchier than Fade is. Fade, like Wolves, which we'll get to later, I remember when it came out, and I'm always thrilled when a new Kanye song comes out, but somehow, like, it took this stream for me to remember it at all, because it came out, I listened to it, and I like almost just completely forgot it, because it sounds like an interlude, and you're just surprised how long it goes on. It's a good like groove, but I mean, this isn't the 80s anymore in a sense, and like Paid in Full by Eric B. and Rakim has got like Chinese arithmetic on it, like that long instrumental that's okay, but you need, especially if you're going to condense an album to 10 songs and eliminate a great song like No More Parties in LA, you need to justify having like a 3-4 minute long basically instrumental in the middle of the album that doesn't even have Kanye on it as far as I can recall. Like, that needs to be justified, and I don't think Fade really lives up to that standard of, oh, it was essential to have this on the record. And again, I don't know if it's an unfair comparison, but I listen to Fade, and I just think about Finna Get Loose. And honestly, would probably rather listen to that. I mean, it's not the perfect song, but I'm sounding so so negative. But I like it so far, but it's just this is a difficult thing to process. I mean, it is, again, it's my first reaction, but anyway, okay, so Fuck My Life, or Fuck My Life Up, or FML, whatever, next track. The Weeknd, I think, on it. I liked, like, listening to the live stream, I got pretty amped up by the little thing at the beginning, where he's just, every line ends with Kanye. I love you, I used to love Kanye, but now it's rude Kanye. I miss the old Kanye. New Kanye should do a song about the old Kanye. That'd be so Kanye. Yeah, and just the so Kanye. But like I said, I was at work when this was streaming, so I had my headphones in, but I wasn't like watching the video of it the whole time. One of the bad things about basically about this not being studio quality is that a lot of the songs on here, the vocals sounded to me like they were being performed live. And I'd always like pull my phone out and be like, wait, is this live? And it never was. So like that little thing at the beginning where he rhymes Kanye, 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 I love you, like Kanye loves Kanye, that which I enjoyed. I didn't pull out my phone at that moment. So like listening to it, it sounded like he just grabbed a mic and like freestyled that in. So I don't know if it's even gonna actually be on the album, but I guess we'll find out. I hope so, because I thought that was pretty cool, I guess. And okay, so the song itself, aside from that intro, is good. Definitely, the beat, the singing, the Weeknd or whoever's on here, I think does a really good job. But again, Kanye is not really the standout of the song. This I don't want to make this comparison really because they really don't equate. But in a sense, it almost feels like Compton by Dr. Dre or whatever. It's like Kanye is intentionally taking a backseat on his own album, which could be a really smart, brilliant thing. I'll figure it out once we get like the full CD. I guess, because maybe there's a grander vision that I'm just not seeing yet. But as far as the theme of Kanye fucking himself over and over again, like, you just gotta go to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and look at songs like Jesus, like Blame Game or Runaway, and see this same kind of theme explored with so much more depth and insight. And this song kind of just feels like a chorus to me. It's pretty. It's definitely pretty. I like the minimal kind of thing. And the ending, when like the beat kind of revs up, it's nice. There's some good beat changes on this, I will say. Like, a number of these songs will just take a left turn. And this one especially just ends really cool. It's weird. It almost sounds like some kind of psychedelic 70s kind of thing, but at the same time not. And this certainly doesn't really... This is like... This haunted, creepy kind of sound just is not something I think I've really heard before on a Kanye record. It's like a certain menace to it without being very aggressive. The emotion does come across, but Kanye has done a million songs about how he fucks his life up. There are lots, well, since the Taylor Swift thing, he's done a lot of songs about how he fucks his own life up and he's his own worst enemy. And it almost goes without saying that a song literally called Fuck My Life Up is maybe a little bit too on the nose. And then number 9, we got Real Friends, which I think is a great song. That was great when it came out. Like, No More Parties in LA is better to me, but not just the beat is so good on it. And on top of that, these aren't the best bars of Kanye's career, but he communicates, like, transmits emotion so well on Real Friends. Just so, everything about the song kind of works for me, except at the beginning where it says, where he just stops rapping and goes, trust issues. I was kind of disappointed because when I was listening to the live stream, I mean, there's no reason for me to hear Real Friends again. I've heard it like, 30 times or whatever. But it was like, I hope that between releasing it on SoundCloud and putting it on the album, Kanye deleted that part where it just goes, trust issues. But he didn't. I guess I've never recorded anything commenting on Real Friends before, but like my impulse is to say, what more can I say? Even though I guess I didn't really say anything, but unfortunately, like, first impression, except for maybe Ultralight Beams, this is like still my favorite song that actually made the record. And it still, works for me every time. The little thing at the end where Kanye starts going on about his cousin that stole the laptop. And I love it because it's not like, I mean, he's not singing. It's like his voice cracks or he hits a sour note. But you feel him getting so exasperated and work up, like you can just see, like, you can hear like tears welling up in his eyes, and he speeds up a little bit and gets a little bit offbeat, and he's a little too loud or he's a little too close to the microphone. He just sounds like, for like 5 or 10 seconds, he had like this total divine like intervention, and he just everything inside of him just exploded out for like 5 or 10 seconds. He's talking about his cousin. It's so effective every time, and the kind of slow, smooth pacing of the song really makes that moment come through. I love Real Friends. I honestly, I do wish No More Parties in LA was on here alongside it. But I mean, Real Friends were on song 9 out of 10, and 9 songs in, I think before the stream was over, probably at song like 5, I was like, oh, I get why he didn't put No More Parties in LA on, which is that's like a 6-minute long song where he is just rapping his ass off, just going fucking hard. Like, definitely, I don't know how anyone could question, except for maybe the Smuckers verse on Tyler the Creator's album. I don't understand how anyone could possibly say that Kanye has had a better verse than his verse on No More Parties in LA in at least like 5 or 6 years. Since My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, he has not rhymed like this pretty much on anything. But this just isn't an album where Kanye wanted to rap, apparently. And that's not necessarily a knock against it. It's just an inconvenient truth that No More Parties in LA, where he's rapping his ass off, was A, better than any song that made the album. At least that's my impression at this moment. And B, thematically, stylistically, just I can see why it didn't fit what he was going for here. And that just leaves us with Wolves, which is like Fade. When it came out, I listened to it and I was excited, and I saw the live performance on SNL or whatever I think it was, and it was really cool with Sia and stuff. I think that was the one where he's like lying on his back and stuff. He like debuted on SNL, and the performance was great. But just listening to the song when it first came out, it just didn't really make an impression on me, and I couldn't really remember it. And I knew it was gonna be on the album, so I didn't revisit it before the stream. But listening to it again now, I was like, oh, I remember why Wolves didn't make an impression on me. And it's the thing of, I know there's girls you wish you could unfollow, and there's guys you wish you could unswallow, which is just another one of those lines. It's like, just the word unswallow is as just terrible as the worst lines on Yeezus. And it's the fucking chorus. And there's little fragments of ideas that I really like on Wolves. There were little fragments that I liked when it came out. But it's somehow, Wolves somehow feels to me like, on the one hand, Kanye was being overambitious, with the Mary and Joseph stuff, while at the same time not trying very hard at all, while also really wanting it to look like he was trying hard, like he was reaching out for something, like he was really going for it. And I just don't think it adds up to anything. Unfortunately, maybe my opinion will change the more I listen to this album. But when Wolves came out, it didn't make an impression on me. And hearing it again in this new context, with the added burden of closing out the album, um, it didn't it my opinion didn't change, and it's so weird. It's just it's in one ear and out the other, and it just doesn't really do anything for me, unfortunately. And that's all 10 songs, which it just still feels so weird. Like, I know that my opinions are gonna change from this first impression review because every time I've listened to the title, stream, rip, whatever, Madison Square Garden show audio, it's just felt like it started and then I was at the end of it and couldn't tell how I got there. And so I know there's something, I don't necessarily think there's something in it, like, oh, there's this huge great idea in there I missed. I hope there is, but I think it's just going to take me a while to process this because it's weird. It like starts out as this great gospel song, and then like right off the bat, he just a terrible line when he finally starts rapping. Chance the like my impression right now is that Chance the Rapper and some uncredited choir singers, you know, outshine anything Kanye personally does vocally or lyrically, which is the opposite of what I hoped, because No More Parties was such a great fucking song, you know. I've been saying that too much, but really that song is great. And no one liked Facts, as far as I know, but it struck me that as much as Facts was derivative of, you know, the Drake Future thing, and he was imitating other styles, the approach he was taking to both flow and lyrics on this really sounded to me like it echoed Facts in a lot of ways. Just the way he was pacing his lines out and just throwing little yelps and hollers like a Yeezus slight thing to emphasize his point instead of working on communicating his point well. A very kind of not raw, but a vocal style that intentionally like sounds unproduced is what I was hearing. And it sounds very similar to Facts, unfortunately, in a lot of ways. And the constant name dropping and the thing about fucking Taylor Swift and the shots at Ray J, like this is a weird album, and maybe there's a brilliance to it, but it's weird that it has songs like Ultralight Beams, which is so beautiful and soothing. And then he's got a line about strapping a GoPro to his dick, so he can have an instant replay, which it's an interesting concept, because I don't know if he wants to strap a GoPro to his dick so he can have video of himself coming inside someone, or if he wants video of the inside of the vagina or whatever. But anyway, it just, Real Friends is like the rap song on this album. Until I hear like feedback again, because maybe I'm pretty sure that I loved it when he played it on the stream, but I haven't been able to find it to listen to again. But I recall when the stream ended, I was like, yeah, Real Friends is the best thing on there. So it's just a weird dichotomy. It just shifts between kind of sound like Dark Fantasy, or like kind of a more polished version of 808s and Heartbreak. Not more polished, but more kind of streamlined and deliberate in a sense. And Facts sounding songs. And then when the stream was over, he like shouted out people who put the event together. And because this is a fucking Adidas event, he played Facts after the album stream was over. And I was like, dude, no one liked that song. You're claims against Nike are the opposite of factual. I mean, it sounded like he changed the beat, so that was interesting, but I think Kanye liked facts more than everyone else did. Like, literally everyone else, except for Kanye, like, disliked that song. Um, and as a huge Kanye fan, I just... Well, there's no excuses or apologies to make. I've heard it a few times, so of course I don't have a fully formed opinion of it yet. Pieces don't all fit together yet for me. But my first impression of this album, as much as I may have sounded critical of it, is I thought it was basically a good album. And who knows if it'll stay this way, but right now I'm liking this album better than Yeezus. There's some really shitty lines on it, but the general aesthetic, the sound of it, the style of it, the way it's put together is by and large smooth and interesting and just textured and varied enough to keep my interest without ever really getting too boring, except for maybe like Wolves. And the thing, I love the music on Yeezus. The problem, it was just these terrible, stupid lines, speaking swag Healy, that he would throw in there. And this has some albums that this has some lines in it that I'm not liking right now. But we'll see how I feel about it in a few weeks, or whenever this album is released. I hope it comes out today, by which I mean the 12th, because I'm recording this in the morning, the 12th. Maybe by the time anyone hears this, the studio quality version will be out. Maybe not. Anyway, that's about all I have. I hope that was some kind of coherent thing. I just wanted to speak on this real quick. Again, this is still not Driving in the Dark. This is before the podcast, vidcast, whatever fully launches. This is just a little freebie, just a little muttering to myself in my basement in the middle of the night. So hopefully you guys got something out of this. Be sure to comment, subscribe, like, all that shit. I'm on Twitter at DITD Podcast. So follow me there. I hope you guys got something out of this. I certainly feel better now having vocalized some of my thoughts about this album. And I'm gonna have an actual review of it eventually. There can be no same day review that's right, or well thought out enough, especially since this is based off basically a bootleg which is basically what it was. It was microphones in the crowd recording the live audio at Madison Square Garden. Official title stream even didn't sound amazing, but yeah, that's it. Kanye West, The Life of Pablo. Also, I don't get the title yet, and that album cover. Yeah, it's you've seen it. So I think that's all there is to say. Follow me on Twitter, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought. Especially if you're one of those people on Twitter who instantly declared it a classic. It's like, you Kanye haters were fucking up. There's another Yeezy classic. This is the best thing ever. He's gonna own the year. If you were that excited about that album and it was genuine, please definitely do comment. Because I want to know what you heard that I didn't. And that's about it. It'll be interesting to see, though, if this fucking album is the studio version is released before anyone hears this. Oh, also, so many false endings, but one last point I wanted to make, first impression I wanted to make or communicate, is that I don't know if this album's gonna sell. Honestly, it's interesting. It doesn't sound divisive in the way Yeezus would be, or controversial or abrasive. I can't imagine someone listening to this and just being repulsed by the sound or anything. But I also don't hear a single on it. and it's going to be really interesting, I think, to see how this does commercially. It kind of makes me think of that Ghostface Kill album, Ghostini Wizard of Poetry and Oz, whatever it was called, his R&B album. Because Ghostface has said in interviews that, that's how I knew that I was done with Def Jam and they were mismanaging me, because that's like one of the best albums I ever did, and it's just all these great R&B songs, and if you couldn't sell that, then you weren't doing your job and all that. But the thing about, Ghostini the Great or whatever was that, well, the songs are acceptable, that style is acceptable, I think, to most audiences. It also wasn't particularly current. It was the kind of thing that probably the majority of mainstream listeners could enjoy, but is not where the mainstream was at. And that's what this Kanye album kind of feels like. I can't see, a Young Thug fan or whatever listening to it and being like, oh, this is shit. And I can't necessarily imagine, a general mainstream hip-hop or pop listener putting this on and just hating it and turning it off. But I also don't see a particular moment or single or song on this where I'm like, yeah, you could pull that out and send that to radio, or people are going to gravitate to this one song. And even at the end of the live stream, Kanye was like, well, guys, is there any one particular song you want to hear again before we go? And there was no consensus from the audience. I have no idea how this is going to do commercially. I can't even imagine what the single is going to be. Well, I could speculate, but you never know. There's a few different routes you could go. Just none of them seem like a sure thing. And that's interesting. It's a very uncertain album. I look forward to listening to it, hopefully for the next few weeks. And I will get you guys a real review eventually once I've listened to it more. If you actually listen this long, thank you. This is Tucker, driving in the dark. Catch you guys later.